Oh, yes, another day of me procrastinating and not knowing what to do with my life. Okay, which game should I play? Um, BioShock? Nah. Doki Doki? Yeah, it's a fun game, but it's 2023, come on. Half-Life? Nah, it's 20 years old. Which game should I play? Wait a minute. What is this game? Oh no, wait a minute. In September of 2016, a new game was announced by the studio Might and Delight. At that time, the studio was known for their franchise Shelter, which was loved throughout the gaming community for its approach towards the survival genre. The game promised their player base an open online world where they can uncover hidden bits and pieces of the Shelter lore while accompanied by breathtaking visuals and a unique soundtrack. Another interesting mechanic which was introduced was the absence of chat, an innovative technique used only by a few games. Finally, in October of 2016, Meadow reached the shelves of Steam and was available for the whole world. And that was the day when I was introduced to it. Okay, let's say that the beginning of the 2010s was the time where the word gamer was not overrated and you were actually proud of being referred to as one. I was just a 12-year-old kid who was introduced to the internet and offered a chance to choose one game to play for good grades. Guess which game I picked? Meadow was not something I picked impulsively. Its astounding visuals were the key factor that sold the game to me. I was attracted to the pastel colors and the dynamic change of scenery in Shelter, so getting my hands on Meadow was just a matter of time. I had good grades in school, a friend or two in real life, but that was it. As an introverted kid, I had to quench my thirst for social interactions in the realm of online games and forums. I would spend days playing Meadow and dedicating my time to unlocking new animals, leading herds of newbies around, and showing them the way to the nearest obelisk. The game mechanics are pretty simple. Upon entering the game, you start as a baby badger who has no skins, no emotes, no other unlocked animals, no songs, no social credits. To unlock emotions, cosmetics, and animals in game, you had to collect fragments of different colors, which would complete a puzzle that in return gives you a new emote, a skin, or a new playable creature. Fragments can be sometimes found by just exploring the map, but this was claimed by some individuals as the boring way to play the game, so the Giga Chaz would lead groups of more than 10 animals to an obelisk. Overall, there were many other ways of enjoying the game, but an average gamer will most likely tell you that the way of endlessly farming fragments is the quote-unquote right one. Social interactions are also a key feature of the game. As I said before, you had no chat to tell your homies that you're left behind, so what is an effective method of communication? Emotes. Emotes and body language are the only available options you have, so any experienced player will pay close attention to what you're trying to tell them and the context behind it. Another fun fact about Meadow: there are no words in your emote bar at the bottom of the screen. Just random signs that you must structure into a functioning sentence, which clearly delivers the message. Do you see an obelisk in the distance? Signal the rest of the group so they follow you. You see someone is missing? Why not question others about their whereabouts? There is a limited amount of emotes and signs available for you in the game, but no need to worry. Most of the time, you will be using just this one emote of an animal waving its paw and nagging the leader of the group where is the next fragment. Usually, these types of players would be ignored since their disrespect towards the herd would constantly ruin the immersion, but they still exist up to this day. Now, since I have given you a little bit more context on Meadow and the bread and butter of this game, it is time to talk about why am I deciding to tell you about a 6-year-old game mostly no one heard about. Well, because it is dying. It is no surprise that the internet community has changed, and the demands for each released game have risen to a greater degree. I'm not just talking from a graphical perspective, but also from storytelling. You cannot use the same concept again and again while making no significant changes to the grand scheme of things and believe that your fanbase will eat it up. This happened with Shelter 3, which got mostly mixed reviews and people commenting, "This game is short, boring, disappointing." Although this was not the final nail in the coffin for the studio, it was undoubtedly a sign that the original idea of Shelter was not as interesting anymore. 2021 was the last time Meadow ever received an update with the addition of a new animal and a new territory. That was it. After that, radio silence. As an average gamer would say, this is not a sign of the end. They might have continued development, but are just working too hard on the update, so they have no time to talk with their fan base. Let me tell you that up to this point, Might and Delight have released a completely new game and focused most of their working force on it, while just keeping the Meadow service up and running. The studio has moved on and left Meadow to wither away with other Shelter games on Steam, which you would occasionally bump into while scrolling your recommended. The average online on all servers combined does not even go past 5 players. Although most of the servers are continued to be maintained by the studio, many of the older players struggle with connecting to them, so most of the time you'll find yourself being the only player in the grove, therefore encountering a common factor of every online game: loneliness. Yeah, this is the point that I was leading to throughout this whole conversation I was having with you. I've rephrased this paragraph way too many times to express what I was feeling about Meadow, which question was in my head, and why do I even want to talk about it. Finally, I came up with the perfect question. How does it feel like to play Meadow in 2023? What feelings do you get from it? The simple answer would be nostalgia. I made many friends online in Meadow that would never join the game since 2016. As a kid, it was hard for me to understand this concept, so I tried my best to join the server in that very same time frame when I met an animal friend. I would sit and wait for hours for that one brown bear cub to appear in front of me or for a black rabbit to jump to me. It was crucial for me to talk with other players and feel supported, cared about, and loved by this small but unique community. I felt like it was a family, and I was a part of it. Meadow has pulled me through the worst days of my childhood. Hell, it even pulls me through all the hardship I'm experiencing now as a young adult who left their parents' home and is forced to see how fucked up the world we live in is, all alone. The calming sound of a waterfall in the distance, the splashes and shudders of a stream nearby, the chirping of birds, and the tiny textures of leaves dancing in the wind, accompanied by a quiet solo of a string instrument, are what brings Meadow its unique sense of loneliness. No sounds of other animals, no mesmerizing glowing fragments, just you and the recreated sounds of nature that, despite everything, stay very loyal to the original source material. Maybe this was something the studio had in mind when bringing this game to life. Maybe it was something they added in the latest update to fill the void of missing players on the map. Nevertheless, they created a goddamn gem out of a very easy concept. It is what it is. I'm a sucker for simplistic yet beautiful games like Minecraft and Terraria. Each of them creates the perfect atmosphere that makes you become quickly addicted to the game. Would it be 8-bit music, piano, or guitar solos? Each of these open world games have a creative touch to them, a smudge or light sway from the tip of the brush of a talented artist who dedicated their whole life to this painting. So some silly kid, like me, would be sitting hours on the server just listening to the ambient sounds playing over and over again. A week before my finals, I installed Meadow and joined an empty grove somewhere in late evening. The world in Meadow is dynamic, and the time of the day changes with the time zone the server is operated in, so I was welcomed by a beautiful sunset, leading to a rise of Meadow's full moon. I stopped doing everything and just sat at the top of the old swamp tree, engulfing the beauty of the night sky with the quiet sound of crickets chirping in the distance and the lonely guitar accompanying my stay. I sat there, just feeling the moment while it lasted. Then I asked that long lost kid inside of me, "Are you happy?" A wave of motivation spread through my body, encouraging me to continue my journey despite everything I gained and lost. "Yes," said the kid inside of me, "I am happy."